All right, well, we're back. We just finished the Rise of Grind morning show. Welcome into Rock Down Detroit Lions, bringing you some breaking news that affects the NFC North, and that is Daniel Jones. So it was just reported about 20 minutes ago that the Minnesota Vikings have now signed Daniel Jones to their practice squad. Now, you probably wondered, well, what in the world are we talking about here? Why are we talking about this? Why does it matter? Well, I think it's very important. I think that what the Vikings are doing right now is adding an insurance policy behind Sam Darnold. So if Sam Darnold does in fact have some sort of an injury, the Vikings season, as good as it's been so far, is over. They do not have another backup quarterback that is anywhere near as good as Sam Darnold or what would be the incumbent now, Daniel Jones. So according to Ryan Young, Adam Schefter, and everybody else, Daniel Jones will reportedly sign with the Vikings after his final release from the Giants. Daniel Jones obviously found his new team quickly. The former New York Giants quarterback is expected to sign with the Minnesota Vikings, according to NFL Network. This move came shortly after Jones requested his release from the Giants after losing his starting job earlier this month. Ian Rappaport had this to say. He said former quarterback Daniel Jones, again, plans to sign with the Vikings practice squad after having cleared waivers. It's a new beginning. It's a new opportunity for Daniel Jones with a chance to be the backup. Now, Jones got his start in the league with the Giants, who selected him with the number 6 overall pick in 2019 out of Duke as the eventual replacement for Eli Manning. While he has been the team starter consistently for the past 6 seasons, he has also struggled to find much success. But how much of that is really his fault? That's the question that I would have. I think the New York is the Giants. They've had their issues with coaching. They've had their issues all over the place. I don't know how much of this is Daniel Jones, or is it a similar situation to what we just saw yesterday with James Houston, that maybe Daniel Jones just needs something new, right? And a fresh start may give him a little bit of a pep in his step to have some success for the balance of his career, or maybe not. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people just don't believe in what Daniel Jones is capable of doing. Clearly, the Vikings believe in their season, and they don't want to see the season go to waste, and that is exactly why they're bringing him in. A little recap on Daniel Jones. So after a very solid campaign in 2022, when he led the team to a 9-7-1 record and to the playoffs, his play has largely gone downhill ever since. Again, I would question, is that all Daniel Jones? Or is it the makeup around him or what's not around him? Jones threw for 2,070 yards with 8 touchdowns and 7 interceptions this season. I wouldn't say that's terrible. It's actually pretty good. He led the Giants to 5 straight losses, though, before the team finally opted to bench him. Again, is it his fault? Is it the defense's fault? I don't know. He hasn't thrown but 7 interceptions all season. So it's not like he's turning the ball over a ton, which would make it his fault. Tommy DeVito backed him up and eventually lost versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week. So, look, this is a move, in my opinion, that is just for strength right now and backup for the Vikings. Don't know what the long-term outlook is here as far as, is Daniel Jones going to end up being the long-term backup when, next season potentially backing up JJ McCarthy? Is this just another opportunity to give JJ McCarthy an opportunity to train with somebody? I don't know. I don't think that Jones really cares about training, other quarterbacks. But why is this important to the Vikings practice squad? How is this going to potentially help them with their playoff chances? Well, I think in a few ways. Number one, it's depth. You have depth at quarterback. Jones will add depth to the Vikings quarterback room, providing an experienced backup option behind Sam Darnold. He's an immediate, change if Sam Darnold goes downhill or if Sam Darnold gets hurt. I mean, this guy could step in right away and play pretty good football, and he's going to have some really good options and weapons at his disposal. With Justin Jefferson and in the run game and everything else that the Vikings have going on offensively. This depth is critical for any team in case of injuries. So any team that is going through this, this playoff run, you want to strengthen your team wherever and whenever you can. And I think that's, kind of what you're seeing with the Lions right now, too, with this James Houston move. I think it's a two-part move. I think it's one, James didn't work out. Number two, they're bringing somebody in that's going to help this team, for the balance of the season. I think that there's a learning opportunity here. So Jones can obviously learn from the Vikings coaching staff. Most importantly, Kevin O'Connell, who has a reputation as being a quarterback whisperer. So this could be a really good move for Daniel Jones to hone his skills and learn, from a coach that has done very well with other quarterbacks and become a valuable asset or trade asset here in the future. So maybe the Vikings are looking at bringing him in, quick flip, kind of flipping a house here. We're going to bring in a quarterback. We're going to train him up. We're going to get him ready and potentially flip him, for some draft picks to a quarterback needy team in 2025. So there's always that factor, right? Then you also have motivation. Jones' presence could motivate the Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold to perform a little bit better. Maybe. I don't know. That's been kind of thrown around a little bit. Competition is always good. Iron sharpens iron, right? We see it, in Motown. It's good to have on your team. So competition can definitely drive players to excel at what they do and do well. And like I said a minute ago, I think that there's some potential future asset to gain here where either Daniel Jones is the next eventual backup quarterback for J.J. McCarthy or future trade option for the Vikings to earn some draft capital back, which all teams need. So breaking NFC North news right now, how it affects your Detroit Lions is pretty simple. Another decent quarterback is going to help the Vikings continue their playoff run should anything happen to Sam Darnold. And I think it's that simple. I think that, that's what this move is right now. He's an insurance policy for the Vikings to continue with their season if something should happen. I do think it's important to note that his immediate impact on the Vikings is really minimal right now. I mean, it's just the future stuff, right? It's the playoffs. It's next season. He's currently on the practice squad. He would have to be elevated, to at least get any sort of a game play or at least be able to play in a game. That may not happen this week. It may be next week. Who knows? The interesting part to this is being on the practice squad. Jones is obviously a vet, so he can't be poached. He can sign wherever he wants to sign or not sign where he wants to sign. And so he's on this practice squad as long as he wants to be there. And that is what it is. So the only other benefit to the Lions that I see here is cap consideration. So what I read earlier from Tom Pelissero is this is going to be about a $13 million cap hit to the Vikings this season. And next season, I think it balloons up to about $19 million for Daniel Jones. And that's all I know right now. So we'll dig into more of that if we need to later. But I at least wanted to bring you guys this update on NFC North news and how it affects your Detroit Lions and the NFC North as a whole in the playoff run, because that's what we're headed to. You guys have a wonderful day. That's it for this edition of Rocked On Detroit Lions Breaking News Update. Have a wonderful afternoon.